Commissioners, my name is Marimba Malayans. I'm the board chair for the Hill Community Development Corporation at 2015-2017 Center Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15219. I stand before you as a resident of the Historic Hill District, as one of the 2 community representatives with George Moses for the Hill District for the arena plan or master plan process. I also stand before you as an original member of the coalition who stood up on that cold January day to demand a CBA and a community process for reinvestment in the Hill District. I'm also, as stated, board chair of the Hill Community Development Corporation, which has been the primary development agent within the Hill District for the past 20 years. We are partially responsible for the success of Crawford Square, Bedford Hill Apartments, Raleigh Avenue Townhouses, the Center Avenue Design Study, recent investments of over $750,000 dedicated to the Granada Theater, and more. The need for the Hill Community Development Corporation is a direct outgrowth of the travesty that occurred on the Lower Hill District 50 years ago, when families were torn apart, homes demolished, businesses destroyed, neighbors displaced. We were and remain a community uprooted, a community struggling to find the right mix of soil from which to grow. And we're desperately hoping that we will not be pulled up again, or stepped on, or built upon with utter disregard to the wishes and needs of our beloved neighborhood. We've been told that this is the most extensive community process undertaken by city planning, and I applaud city planning and UDA for their work. But unfortunately, as of today, that is not enough. As the City Planning Commission, you sit squarely in the middle of 2 community processes. 1, the Arena Master Plan process. 2, the Community Reinvestment process, also referred to as the CBA. Both remain incomplete. The parking study does not properly account for population increase from future Hill District developments, including residential and commercial space. The same applies for traffic. Number 2, during the community input processes, it was frequently stated that whatever new arena must exist must contribute to the economic vitality of the Hill District's commercial corridor, Center Avenue in particular. Currently, the design does not account for this community need as has been stated by others. 3, there should be further evaluation of the relationship between the number of parking spaces today and the decreases that will occur over the next 10 years as we develop the 28 acres on the Lower Hill District site. What will be the residual impact of the parking and traffic on the Hill District during and after this development is critical. And how is this connected to the Penguins' development rights on that land? These are important design, parking, and traffic issues that must be addressed before approval. Far more important than design, parking, and traffic, however, is the unresolved issue of financial reinvestment to the host community, the Hill District. In April of 2007, the Pittsburgh Penguins promised to engage in community reinvestment through the Hill District, through a CBA. In June, the URA board voted against requiring this commitment to be memorialized in the language of the lease agreement. At that time, Councilwoman Tonya Payne, a member of the URA board, promised to deliver a meaningful CBA. So did the Penguins. Now, they have left us no choice but to speak publicly about their failure to do so thus far. The Penguins have been unresponsive to the Hill District's request and have not honored their commitment, as evidenced by the fact that there is no CBA. We can no longer afford to let them just get by, not even one more step. Yes. This is the final step, and we need you, City Planning, and City Council to step in tandem with the residents of this city, not private interests. All right. The Penguins have been given over $500 million in public subsidy. This city, county, and state groveled to keep them here, begged for them to stay, gave them more than was acceptable or even imaginable. So now it is time to give back, not just to the Hill District, but each single taxpayer in the city and county. Please vote no on this plan until the Penguin City and County engage in a full reinvestment agreement with sign-off from the Hill Community Development Corporation, Hill District faith leaders, and One Hill. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malone.
Good evening. officials and commissioners. My name is Dr. Kimberly Ellis. I'm chair of Raise Your Hand No Games, formerly known as Raise Your Hand No Casino on the Hill campaign. And I'm also chair of the Historic Hill Initiative, and I proudly represent the Hill District today. I'd also like to offer to give my address privately, if you don't mind. I'm not old enough to have witnessed the destruction 50 years ago, but I am standing here today on the shoulders of my ancestors and with vision and hope for all of the young people who will grow up in the city of Pittsburgh and in the Historic Hill District in particular. I have a moral imperative and a civic obligation to be here today and must implore all of you who are officials to think of yourselves as the holders of seats that stretch back far beyond your years and position, to embrace this city's past, present, and future, and to make a positive difference here, instead of languishing in cowardly silence, indifference, or injustice. I've had a lot of time to think about city planning over the past year, and I think that city planning could not possibly just be about the physical structure of a building, parking, traffic, and roads. We're at a pivotal point in our history where Pittsburgh must reconcile itself with its own history in order to forge a better future. And in order to do so, you must vote no against the Penn's plan until there is full and proper reinvestment in the Hill District community, the primary host neighborhood of the arena, and the front yard at which the arena will sit. For the record, the Penn's plan for the arena is substandard and should not be passed for a number of different reasons, not the least of which are poor, callous, and indiscriminate aspects of their planning. The parking spaces they've allotted for street parking in the Hill District community turns our neighborhood into the arena's parking lot, and this is unacceptable. Their parking space projections deal with future arena seats applied to present-day street parking in the Hill. There was and is no accountability for the increased population and parking needs of the new developments and housing in the neighborhood, particularly closest to the arena, which includes McCormick and Barron housing on Whiteside, new housing on Webster Avenue that includes and continues up to Kirkpatrick Street, the new Legacy apartment building, the new Carnegie Library, and the proposed YMCA along Center Avenue, the coming developments along Fifth Avenue, all of which are emerging within no less than 5 or 6 blocks of the new arena. Thus, their parking projections are erroneous and will prove to be a disaster, not just for our neighborhood, but for Penguins fans and other visitors to the arena as well. Others have or will mention the design and have done, talked about the 500 space of the parking of the garage, the violation of the zoning requirement for surface parking, having no actualized view of the historic hillside of the arena, and most importantly, the lack of proper and full reinvestment in the Hill District community through the One Hill CBA Coalition, or the so-called Ministers Group, which is really a coalition of residents, stakeholders, and clergy in the Hill District who have long ago persisted in holding the city, county, and Penns accountable to a CBA without joint sign-off. The Penns have paid off their investors and have at least $25 million in the pot. They would like for you to believe that because they held public meetings and recorded what we said, that concludes the idea and purpose of public input, and most importantly, public accountability. What we have offer with regard to the parking are concerns of the 28 acres, which they would like for you to exclude in this analysis, and what we shared about reinvestment must be dealt with appropriately, or you'll find in the future that we'll have far less of a city for which we can actually plan. Let me wrap up. One problem that I have, major problem, Don Carter says that the arena is not being built with public dollars. That's an extreme oversight at best and an outright lie at worst. First, state public dollars were used for the casino slot license application in order to conduct the casino development process, which, as we know, $15 million per year for 30 years from the state gaming funds and Don Barnes' Majestic Stars, what primarily funds the arena and even allows it to exist. The second, the Sports and Exhibition Authority is a public domain. Therefore, the land given leased to the Penns for the arena are public lands reflective of public dollars. Third, the Penns received large amounts of public subsidy for the following, clearly outlined in their term agreement. $1 million for demolition, public dollars. $8 million to publish the old hospital. $2 million for marketing, public state funds, public dollars. $15 million to purchase vacant land of their choosing. And if that's not enough, there's a split over option of coverage costs, so that if the arena costs go over $290 million, up to $310 million, the city will split the difference, and that's another $10 million of public dollars. Finally, to exclude the 28 acres from the idea of public subsidy is ludicrous. And as an early resolution, two seconds, from the SCA, there will be no 28 acres to discuss without finding the arena. Please vote no. Thank you very much.